Hey team, happy Friday. I don't really understand how we're already more than halfway through October. I actually can't fathom it. I was at Costco yesterday and there were some Christmas things already up. And look, while you all know that delights me to my core, you also know that I do love October. I am still a Halloween girly, and so I am going to give it all the time it deserves, don't you worry. Speaking of which, hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving last weekend. It's still, Halloween time. It's still pumpkin season. It's still apple season. It's still the season of all of those amazing fall flavors. And so we're gonna do a little baking today with some leftover pumpkin puree that my mom gave me last weekend. There are so many different things that you can make with pumpkin puree because this isn't pumpkin pie filling. Should note that this is just pureed pumpkin. So I've made soups with this. I have made, pumpkin cookies. You can obviously make pumpkin pie. There's so many different recipes that you can use with just pureed pumpkin. And so I was looking for something a little bit different. And I found a recipe for some pumpkin blondies. So we're gonna try those out today. And because I'm heading to a cottage this weekend with one of my friends who is gluten-free, I'm gonna be doing a gluten-free version of these pumpkin blondies, but basically the flour is like a 1-to-1 ratio, so you can just use regular flour if you like the recipe. Baking music today. So Sam Fender just came out with a new one. It's called Talk to You. I heard it before it came out when I saw him a couple weeks ago, and it's unbelievable. And so I'm going to be listening to kind of like my new release Friday mix to see if there's any new good stuff that's kicking around from some of my favorites. So starting off this recipe, we've got 3/4 cup of melted butter and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. So we're going to get these mixed together. This is kind of how most baking starts. Start with your wet ingredients. Butter and sugar usually go first, making sure they're either creamed together or fully dissolved together. And then you add your eggs, and then you build on top of that. It's pretty classic. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Elisa, what's the difference between a brownie and a blondie? Well, a blondie essentially has the same gooey texture, has that same chew and mouthfeel as a brownie, except there's no cocoa in it. So there's no cocoa or chocolate in it, which would then make it brown. So to our butter and sugar, we have now added in an egg and our pumpkin. Called for about 1 can of pumpkin puree, which is about between 1.5 to 2 cups. So this is actually just the right amount. And we are also going to be adding in a teaspoon of vanilla. Now, this is real vanilla. I normally buy the fake stuff from the grocery store, so sue me. But I got this big bottle of pure vanilla extract from Costco for $12. One of the little bottles at the grocery store of like the pure vanilla extract is like $12 on its own. So I'm like, friggin' Costco, man. Like, sometimes you find good stuff. And we do have to add the pumpkin in at this stage because pumpkin puree is quite moist. There's a lot of moisture and, essentially wetness in a pumpkin puree. And so when it comes to baking, so much of it is a science and how you add things in together. So if you were to add this in too late or after you've added in your dry ingredients, then the consistency of your blondie is just not going to come out right. So to the bowl, now we can start adding in our dry ingredients. For gluten-free, I find, the Bob's Red Mill is probably the best, 1-for-1 ratios to regular flours out of all gluten-free flours that I've used. It just turns out right pretty much every time. Anytime I need to use or make something gluten-free, I essentially just do this 1-for-1 with this flour, and it's worked every time. So to this, we're gonna add about 1.5 cups of flour. We are then gonna add in about a teaspoon of baking powder, and then we can add in all of our fun fall spices. Now, when you're talking pumpkin spice, this is your group. So you are looking at cinnamon. So the majority of the pumpkin spice is going to be cinnamon. About half of the ratio is this much. You got a bit of ginger. Again, you don't need too much. Ginger's super powerful. Nutmeg. You can see just my plethora of containers as well. Nutmeg also, a little bit goes a long way. You don't need too much. You've got your ground cloves. This gives it that sort of earthy warmness at the bottom. And then a bit of allspice. Now, there is a pretty classic kind of ratio that you can do for pumpkin spice, like when you're talking about these ratios. But the beauty of this is that you can do it based on your flavor profiles. So sometimes I like things maybe a little bit spicier with a little bit more of a ginger kick, so I'll add a little bit more. But the world is your oyster. So when all of that is mixed together, you have this kind of beautiful, again, sort of brownie consistency dough. And so this is exactly what you're looking for. Now at this point, you can either fold in maybe some pecans or some walnuts. You can fold in some chocolate chips. I unfortunately don't have too many white chocolate chips left. So I'm probably gonna pour these into the pan and just top them with these. Okay, so we have popped these into a 9x13, and we are going to set them into the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. And we'll see how it goes. By the way, I do feel like I need to clarify. I have never made these before. I make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, but that's only because of other things that I have baked before. That is purely from experience. I am not trained, and so frankly, these could turn out like shit. I don't know. We'll find out if I know what I'm talking about, but the proof is going to be in the pudding, or the blondie. All right, these have come out and they smell amazing. So we'll let them cool, and then when we slice them up, we'll see if the consistency is where we want them to be. Okay guys, they basically cooled. So we should probably score these first. Make sure that we have some nice even cuts. I mean, even the scoring is sliding through really well. See what we've got. Okay, they're still a little warm. But I think this is exactly what we're looking for. Not too cakey. Let's see. That'll do. Have a good weekend, guys.